Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy, the Strongest Wizard, and tonight is indeed Fight Night, and we have ourselves another OP08 match. We got my man Marco on the left-hand side, as well as Black Luffy on the right. And guys, we have seen the Black Luffy hit the storm of the meta, extremely popular leader currently in this OP08 set. So we're going to see exactly how it does in this matchup. Now, we did see the Marco ability here. When you attach one Dawn, we get to draw one card and then put one card from our hand to the top or the bottom of the deck. Helps us set up a lot of our future plays. We saw the Izo grabbing an ace, and we're going to go ahead and pass the turn. But now we see a meaty AK swing going into Marco, and Marco's going to go ahead and taking it, dropping down to 3 life. Quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is DXN Outpost, DXN Provisions, the only place where I get all my seal product. And guys, right now they have a ton of OP08 product on their online shop. So if you guys are interested, check out the link below for some OP08. So we are going to attach one Dawn to our leader here. We're going to draw one and then put one to the top or the bottom. Now, it is also to mention, when you do that as well, you also get the ability to minus 2k power a character on the opponent's side of the board for the turn. Unfortunately, no character to do so, but we can still draw, we can essentially still cycle, right? So we are going to see the peel off drawing 2 cards, pretty good here. Pot of Greed, very nice. We see a 6k swing going into life. This is an easy 2k counter, which we do end up giving him. And now we see the 4-cost Kuzan, the champion one as well, drawing 1 card and then just passing the turn. Now with 6 active Dawn, do we have the 5-cost Marco to possibly remove this body by attaching 1 Dawn? And doing so, I'm not too sure, but Marco does have quite a few cards in their hand as well, which is of course very, very good. We're just doing blue things at this point, right? So let's see exactly here what Marco can do. I imagine we try to apply a little bit of pressure here, or we can use that ace ability to do something pretty cool as well. So we're going to attach 1 Dawn here. We're going to draw 1 card. We're going to give that Kuzan minus 2000 power. And now we're going to decide whether we want to put something on the top or the bottom. If we put something on the top, either we really like it and we're just digging 1 card deeper for whatever we want, or we're going to use that ace or another card to use that ability with, right? So we're actually going to add it to the top, and yes, we see the minus 2k power right then and there. And with 6 active Dawn, we're swinging just 6k into life, and we are going to go ahead and take this, dropping down to 4 life here. And now we have the ace, and we actually play out the Fishman Whitebeard blocker. Now what's really cool is actually this on play ability is we draw 2 cards and then we get to put 2 cards to the top or the bottom and then reorganize them in any order. So the amount of cycling, the amount of cards we've seen with this deck so far is actually pretty incredible. And I honestly really like this ability here, and I like the idea of doing 2 cards. It sets up for the 9-cost turn pretty easily, as well as some other turns. So we see a 7k swing going into life. I did mention before that 3-cost is a blocker that we just ended up playing here. So we can block it here with ease, since it is only a 3k body character or a 2k body, but we are going to go ahead and drop the Sanji to get rid of that ace. Very good here. That 1 Dawn attached to that leader makes Sanji a 6-cost character, which is able to actually pop a 5-cost or lower. Very good. But we are now resetting here, and it's not actually looking too bad here for Marco. I think there are a ton of different builds that you can actually play Marco right now. You have the low to the floor, just throw out a ton of bodies, as well as the, I wouldn't say high roll, but the higher ceiling with Sanji and things like that. So attaching 1 Dawn to our leader, drawing 1 card, and then deciding whether we want to put it to the top or the bottom here. And it looks like we probably are going to put it to the top, is what it looks like. I am going to assume so. Yes, adding it to the top, minusing the Kuzan once again here. And it looks like we are going to tap possibly 5 here. We're going to tap 5 here for that ace. We're going to actually bring out the Atmos. Now, the Atmos I actually do really like here. We're going to go ahead and reveal 2 cards to bounce a 4-cost or lower. But unfortunately, that Kuzan should be a 5-cost because of the Luffy. So nonetheless, we're swinging AK into life, and we do end up connecting here. We did end up bouncing that Kuzan, which I do believe it's 4-cost. I could be wrong. It could be 5-cost. Let me look up here as we talk here. It is a 4-cost or less. So yeah, that is definitely a misplay here. But we're going to go ahead and play out the E-show. We're going to pitch 2 cards, and we are swinging a big 6k into life here. Now, it is important to mention that Luffy is a 6k base lead as long as there is an 8 cost character on the board, with 1 Dawn attached to it, of course. So now that is a 7k swing going into life, which does end up connecting here, dropping down to 2 life, and now we're already at 10. So we're at 10 Dawn here. We do have that ace, which is actually really nice since it does go even with the Black Luffy leader, which is really important. But I imagine we're going to go ahead and possibly see that Sanji coming into effect here. We could actually attach 1 Dawn to Marco, set up the character, put whatever we want on the very top with Sanji, and then we can minus 2k onto the Sanji. We can swing Amos into the Sanji as well, which would be really, really important. We're using ability now to finally put something on the very top. What are we going to put exactly here? And we're going to put something on the very top, and we're going to minus 2k onto the Sanji. That is a 4,000 power Sanji. And now we see the ace coming into play, and we see the Rayleigh coming down here. We're going to minus 3k onto that Isho, and then 2k onto the Sanji to remove it. And now we see a 5k swing going into life, which does not connect, which was what I was talking about earlier. We see a 6k swing going into life. This is an easy 1k counter, of course. And with Black Luffy having a ton of cards in their hand, it's pretty easy for them to just kind of remove it off the board to actually clear that. So we're going to go ahead and attach possibly 1 Dawn to our Isho to make everything on the opponent's of the board minus 3 costs, which just help us out quite a lot. The only issue with Black Luffy right now is that we're only able to get rid of 1 body at a time when you compare it to cards like or decks like Rob Lucci, which is able to remove 2 bodies at a time. So we see the double Dutch. We see 2 Ishos coming down back to back. Is kind of crazy here. We're getting rid of a 9 cost as well as the 7 cost. Now the 7 cost is actually quite useless in this matchup. Well, in most cases I think it quite is. The only reason why is because everything gets +1 cost. So we get to remove other characters like the Sanji pretty easily, but if they have stage up, that's a different story, right? So, but this is a 10k swing. I imagine it's actually going into life. I imagine. It has to be, right? It has to be into life. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and take this here. We're gonna drop it down to 1 life, and now the 7k swing does most likely go into, actually going into the Atmos. Very interesting here. I didn't think it would go to Atmos just because Atmos probably can't swing next turn either way, but we're actually going to go ahead and protect it. Very interesting here for Marco to keep it alive here, but nonetheless with 4 cards I believe in our hand, let's see what we can do. Can we remove this Isho? We need to get at least rid of 2 characters and then set up a blocker, or we go for game. Black Luffy is currently at 3 life with a billion cards in their hand, so we have to kind of figure out what we want to do. And if you look at Black Luffy's hand, there's quite a few counter in there as well. At the same time, there isn't too much, so we're going to attach 1 Dawn here. We're going to draw our card. We're going to cycle a little bit. We're giving minus 2k to that Isho. We could probably pretty easily remove that character off the board. I do also know that Marco does have a pudding in our hand here, so we could actually just throw down the pudding, throw back the hand. Let's see exactly what we could do. And it looks like we are kind of eyeing that here. So we're swinging a big 9k into 7 here, and it does go down, and we are going to go ahead and play that pudding here. We're going to kind of punish Black Luffy for not actually countering out of that attack, which I probably wouldn't do regardless since Rayleigh is of course on the board. Now with 4 active Dawn here, I don't think we can go for game. We could, if we really, the issue is that Black Luffy is a 6,000 power leader. We forget that, right? So we're swinging 6k into life with the Atmos, and it looks like it does connect, dropping down to 2 life. We swing 6k into life as well, and this could be a bit of bait here that Black Luffy is giving us. We can see from his hand that he does have quite a few counter. I think he has like at least 3 2k counters in his hand, so which is pretty frightening here. And with 4 active Dawn, I think Marco's deciding whether he wants to go for game or not. This is a 9k swing going into life. We could swing 10k into 6 and then call it a day, but no, we're going to play it safe here, swinging 6k into life. And do we have the 4 cost blocker Marco? Yes, we do. We're going to get rid of the pudding and just pass the turn. Very, very interesting. And unfortunately, with 2 cards in our hand, as long as we have the removal, we just don't survive here. So we're going to go ahead and play out the Brook, attaching 1 Dawn. Does, of course, put that in range. We're seeing a big 10k swing into life, 2 cards in hand. We know we cannot counter out of this. mathematically it's not possible. So we are going to go ahead and take this here, and we're going to just dump the rest onto our leader and then swing for game, and Black Luffy does end up taking it. Thank you guys so much for checking out this channel, this video. I really do appreciate it, and stay tuned because I have a ton of new OP08 content coming out soon. See ya.